I think the reason why we are living in dire poverty, hand to mouth, most of us, is because the governments have put us in debt. If you look at the three largest conglomerates in Trinidad and Tobago, and even in the Caribbean and the Western Hemisphere since independence, Carney Limited, Clico, Petrotrin, the three largest corporate money-making bodies in Trinidad and Tobago. They're not small entities. They're not selling hair clips and hair nets and pins and brooches and toilet paper. They're selling sugar, they're selling oil, and they're selling financial assets. Tate and Lyle, Texaco, which became Petrotrin, and Clico, which moved from Cyril Dupré to his nephew Lawrence Dupré. All of them went bust. So today, Carney Limited, we have to pay debts of over $10 billion. And they have to pay the workers, 10,000 workers they had to pay when they closed that particular sugar refinery, Carney 975 Limited. Clico, $18 billion debt. Petrotrin today, the Minister of Finance announced $14 billion in debt. Who's going to pay that? That money is not money they're going to get from the banks. That's money which the government, because of its corruption, because of its incapacities, because of its failure to account, is a charge on your pockets. So you are owing government $40 billion, which is the size of many of the budgets of small island economies in the Caribbean, the size of a budget 2-3 years ago. So that's how you're impoverished. That money is not being owed to the banks, it's being owed to you. The government has taken $40 billion to bail out these companies on your behalf. That's how you become impoverished. That's how you lose your schools and your hospitals and your roads. That's why you have such a buildup of traffic. That's why your education system can be poor, because the government mismanages and corruptly taxes you for its mismanagement. That's why this project is very important, because we're asking the government, if you want to spend $8 billion on this project, you have to account. You have to make sure, if the government comes to steal your assets, to grab your assets, your homes and your lands and your business assets and your systems of connectivity and your cultural resources, your churches and temples and your agricultural soil and your system of land tenure, land inheritance, your shops, your lagoon, part of a mountain range. They have to justify it. Because Adam Smith, the person who wrote that famous book on capitalism and markets, 70 centuries ago, The Wealth of the Nations, he made a very interesting point. And the point he made is that people engage in trade and exchange in order not to go to war. Because if you don't have trade and fair exchange, equitable exchange, the alternative is war. That's why we are fighting the social war. Because they have not accounted for those resources. They have not done a cost-benefit analysis. They have not done a hydrology report. They have not done a social impact assessment. So that's why you have the social war. Because the government does not want to deal with us equitably. It doesn't want to engage in fair trade and fair exchange. And in the absence of fair trade and fair exchange, it's endless social war. So don't ever let the government or the corporation come and steal your resources without accounting. They must account. Because if you don't account, in future, you will have to pay the bill.